Well, hello everyone, and welcome tonight for episode 10 of Rise of the Sovereign. I officially ran out of fingers, so is this the end? I don't know.
Wait, you ran it? Oh.
I've only got 2 fingers. 10? We're at episode 10. That's it. So appreciate everybody logging in and watching us tonight. We are going to be down one player. Wes had some family business to deal with tonight, so thoughts and prayers are with Wes as he is traveling. Hey, he's watching. We see him watching. So I hope he's having good traveling. Hello, Wes. And as we pick up tonight, a couple of quick announcements. As always, we will be loading all of our episodes on YouTube, also on podcasts. So if you want to catch up with us on podcasts, we're on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podbean, all types of fun stuff. Just look for Rise of the Sovereign. You should be able to find us everywhere. And then as we get going tonight, let's go ahead and do a quick introduction of our players, our cast for tonight, and we'll start up top. Ellie, tell us a little bit about your character.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ellie. I am playing a Changeling Trickster rogue. Her name is Anne Hothamore, with quite a few different identities. And I'm very excited.
All right, and then below us we have Laz.
Laszlo. I'm playing Lorex, the Dwarf, who's can't ever get his accent quite correct, so it wiggles a little bit. He is the warlord, Genie Warlock. Excuse me. He's not a warlord at all. I'm having a day.
You know, if you want to be a warlord, we can make that happen. Ooh. And then down below we also have my friend Danny. And Danny, what are you playing today?
I am playing Vimak, the Goliath Rune Knight. I am also a warlord. We are making a thing of this. And
I'll be warlord.
It's like some sort of Sean Connery type accent, I can tell.
All right, and before we get started, I do want to clear up one little thing for everybody. We are playing 5th edition D&D. However, I do homebrew a good bit. I also like to pull in a lot of third-party stuff for inspiration, or sometimes just to flat out use it. So we are going to be moving and doing a little bit with Strongholds and Followers. I'm a big Matt Colville fan. This is a fantastic book. We've really enjoyed. We've played with this in the past. So when we start talking about building our stronghold and getting followers, you'll say, hey, what is that? That's not in 5th edition D&D. It is if you buy the Strongholds and Followers, which I highly recommend you do. So big Colville fan here. So with that, we will dive in to episode 10 of Rise of the Sovereign. So last week we left off. Our heroes had just finished cleaning out the this little dungeon they had run into in the Underdark, and they were on this hunt to find a beholder or beholderkin. They needed it because their patron, the great Miles Hothamore, who is in fact a lich, needed the blood of a beholder in order to protect the lair from being scryed upon. So they set out into Waterdeep to find what seemed to be an impossible thing, and they did actually manage to track a beholderkin down, a little four-eyed specter, but it was good, a spectator, but it was good enough, and they were able to kill it, because I believe Vimak suddenly named his mighty maul Beauty as he stuck it into the eye of the beholder. It was the most amazing dad joke I've heard in play in quite some time.
It's actually been named Beauty this whole time. This was just the big reveal.
This is the big reveal. It was a big reveal. It was beautiful, beautiful. And lich, yeah, he's a lich adjacent. All right. So you were able to manage to fight off the spiders, much to Anne's much love, to kill all the spiders and goblins and bugbears and all the awful things that are in there. And you actually managed to kill the spectator as well, which was the beholderkin. At this point, we're going to fast forward the story just a little bit. You have exited the entrance of the yawning portal. You've gotten out of the Underdark, and you're back into the city. Now, at this point, the goal is to get the remains of this. You basically have this spectator, this beholderkin, in a bag, in this bloody bag, and you've got to get this back to Miles as fast as possible because you need as much of this blood as possible. So it's a way for you to, like, we've got to run back outside of the city, get back to his crypt, the stronghold to be that you are. Right. So that is what you're doing. So we're going to pick up the story right there. So we're not quite. I'm going to get back to where we were. So we're going to go back to Waterdeep. Now, as we get outside of Waterdeep, this is the big city map of Waterdeep. You get outside of the Yawning Portal. It is pouring rain. Now, there are 5 of you actually here. There's the 3 of you. We also have Cordan Acosta is with you, who is played by my friend Wes, who's not here, so he'll be in NPC mode right now. And you're also joined by Yagra, who was the half-orc that came in there to try to save what was her brother, Osric, from the Xanathar's guild that you had run into. And we found out that Osric was taken over by one of these intellect devourers. His brain had gotten inside of him, and when you tried to catch him and to, question him, his head exploded. This brain thing ran across the floor. He ended up killing it as well. So Yagra was just beside herself that her brother died this horrible, gruesome death right in front of her. So the 5 of you have left.
Do we have any furry friends along?
You do have one furry friend along.
Excellent.
I was about to get to that. Your 6th companion, or companion 5.5, is the little hamster Boo. Now, the little hamster Boo has quite a story that we're learning, because now Boo is the sidekick of Minsk. Legendary Dungeons and Dragons character. Everyone's heard about throughout the Forgotten Realms of Minsk and Boo. And earlier in our campaign, we learned that Minsk, Elminster, Branwyn, and Dynahair had been charged with going to the Shadowfell to investigate all of the strange things that have been happening around the city with the attacks of the Displacer Beast, also the loss of food, the loss of all of the fish out of the harbor. All of this was tied into something happening with the Fae, and particularly they found out the Shadowfell. So they had left, and it seems what you had learned last week is that Boo was not allowed to go or didn't go to the Shadowfell, and Yagra was basically babysitting Boo until Minsk came back.
And then Boo ended up having to babysit Yagra. It
was kind of a weird thing that happened. And with that, something strange happened where Cordan Acosta had turned into a hamster to talk to the hamster, and they had this amazing moment of these 2 hamsters talking to each other, and found out that Boo is a nickname, and his name is actually Bodan, or Boodan, but we're going to go with Bodan. His original name was Bodan, and no one, I guess, had ever taught him, but he is actually the reincarnation of this lost warrior that fought alongside Miles years ago, and the story goes is that Bodan had a way to sense and see the collective. He could tell if somebody had been taken over by the collective. If these intellect devourers, these brains, had overtaken someone's mind, apparently Bodan had a way to smell it out, to sense it out in some way. And you saw this happen while you were in the Underdark, because it was Boo who started, screeching and growling in a way, a hamster growl, at Osric before his head exploded. So you picked up a couple of pieces of information. First, we have the spectator blood in the bag, but you also have found Boo, who apparently this hamster may be the smallest part of the puzzle of figuring out how to sense the who these collective are, who are the mind flayers. All of this may be the fact that you can't ever find out if the person you're talking to is who you're talking to or has been taken over by one of these intellect devourers. So that's a long recap, but that's where we are as the story picks up. We're outside the Yawning Portal. It's pouring rain, and you're basically having to try to get outside the city. Now, quick reminder, all of the players are wanted. So moving throughout the city is going to be a little tricky, because remember that everyone in Waterdeep is looking for you for murdering someone who you didn't. Falsely accused. So that is still hanging out there. So you're just outside the Yawning Portal and it's pouring rain. What do you want to do? We'll start up top with Anne.
Anne would shift to Charlotte.
Okay, so you change personas. You turn into Charlotte, the black hair. Now this is your persona of the person that went to train at one of the mages guilds here in town. So you change your persona to that. Now as she does that, what is our friend Lorex doing?
Lorex is going to go into the lantern
Okay, so you're just going to poof
Yeah, he can't.
Genie
he can't
yourself
do
into
that.
the lantern.
Yeah, he's gonna go chill in there. He doesn't want to get sighted. People know him.
All right,
Not-
so
not
Charlotte, you're holding a
too far.
lantern. It begins to glow a faint blue. Do you have the lantern? Do you have the lantern?
It's right
with you?
there.
You
It's right
do. Okay,
there.
go get your lantern. So you've got your little Lorex lantern. I love that she's into props. So she has her Lorex lantern. It's shining a very faint blue light to let her know that Lorex is home in the lantern. And as that is going on, what is Vimak doing down at the bottom?
I will remain the 7.5-foot inconspicuous Goliath, but I will hunch a little bit. I will. That's what I'll do. That's about all I can do.
We also do have the spell gem that has disguise self in it if you wanted to change to Martha Stewart or something.
We could do that.
Just a
Yes.
reminder.
Let's do that. Let's change into Martha Stewart.
Okay.
We'll do that.
All right, so using the spell gem that we had earlier, Anne had put a disguise self spell in it that I believe at this point Vimak is kind of carrying around just in case of an emergency. He turns himself back into, we'll call it someone who looks a lot like Martha Stewart, but still looks like a Goliath in the face, just with the blonde hair and a little bit shorter. So it looks like a Goliath face with the Martha Stewart hair and a whole lot shorter. Definitely a different person, but a very odd looking Martha Stewart type person. I still think it's funny that in the moment you wanted to turn yourself into a criminal and you thought of Martha Stewart. That still cracks me up weeks later.
Yeah.
All right. So now Cordan at this point looks around and he has been with, I know that Boo has been kind of dancing back and forth between a few of you. Cordan looks and sees that Boo is like basically down on the street and starts kind of like scuttling away. He takes a step to go after Boo. Boo kind of does the turn to look at him like the hamster meme, the surprise thing as he turns and looks, and he kind of disappears into the night. Cordan quickly turns into a hamster as well and chases after Boo into the rainy night. And you just look across the street and you see them darting across as Cordan is in hamster mode chasing after the other hamster. At that point, you look around and Yagra goes, forget that rodent. Mitz can deal with it when he returns. And with that, Yagra just bids you adieu and she leaves to go get herself an ale. She's very, very upset about the loss of her brother. So she wants to go bury her soul at the tavern. So with that, Yagra has left. Cordan has ran across chasing Boo. And who is still holding the bloody bag of the spectator?
I'm a little offended, by the way.
Probably.
Well, she said, forget that hamster, but then she just said, forget all of you guys too.
Yeah.
She's dealing with a lot of grief, and I think right now
She's creepy.
Give her a pass.
Denial is the first stage.
Denial is the first stage, right? So Yagra goes back to the portal. It was
Danny,
also
do you have the?
She might have also been put off by the Goliath turning into Martha Stewart. Just saying.
Could be.
You might have ruined it for her, Vimak.
Oh well. Still prettier than an orc. I don't know what she's all offended about.
All right, so at this point, do you want to try to head back out of town now that everyone is disguised?
Yeah, can you ping on the map real fast exactly where we are? Because this city is massive.
It is.
Very big.
You're basically looking right around here.
Okay.
And you've got to get all the way to here. So it's not terribly far, but you also don't want to dawdle too much, because I don't know how long Lorex can stay in the lantern. I think it's only a few hours. Correct?
I'm only Martha Stewart for an hour as well.
For an hour.
So you got an hour, so y'all need to book it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, everyone moves out of the city. As you're leaving the city, it's pouring rain. and you're just kind of moving as fast as you can because time is of the essence as you're moving through. It's late at night. The Yawning Portal was pretty busy, and you were able to kind of like mix in and return with another group that was leaving at the same time. So you just kind of got lost in the crowd. You're still carrying all of the treasure that you had. You're still carrying the bounty that you found, the Drider bounty that you found. We did kill that, take enough to kind of prove that you killed it. So all of that can still be done, but right now it's all about getting back to Miles as fast as possible while you still have as much of this left. You quickly move through town. You do hear a lot of scuttle going around in the town. There seems to be a lot of arguments and fights breaking out about food. Several of the temples, particularly the Temple of Helm and there's another one, Shantea, are summoning food in and giving it out to some of the people. So there's a lot of crowds like kind of pushing over and trying to get, their fair share of the summoned food. So there's a lot of minor chaos happening in the town right now. Just general hostility because people are starting to panic about the fact that the livestock around town has been obliterated. And now the fishing boats are coming back empty. And all of this has kind of happened at the same time. So it's kind of creating a little bit of chaos in the town. So with that, you're able to get outside of town without a problem. The guards are busy dealing with everything else. And, an upstanding, I forgot, are you in an elf form at this point? Is that what Charlotte is? Is she, or is it human?
Charlotte's half elf.
Half elf. So you've got like this regal look to her. You're able to easily pass by and help this old lady out of the city that you're with, and get outside the city. And with that, you're able to quickly move back to Undercliff, which is where we started here. So this is the city that we started in, just outside of Waterdeep, the little village that kind of grew up outside. You move through the town pretty quickly. You pass by Beetle's, the tavern, and as you're going by it, you notice that it's pretty busy, but it's not as busy as normal. I don't know if it has to do with the weather or anything like that, but you notice that it's just, there are people in there, but it's not as busy as normal. You just kind of take a note of that as you're running by the town. This is the tavern that serves the major part of Undercliff, and it's run by the Snow Beetle clan, which is the halflings. This is kind of where we started early off. It's just a point of reference as you're moving by through the town, through the rain. As you pass by that, you also pass the Amcathra stables. And there you see, this was like a scene of the crime earlier. We had the big fight with the Displacer Beast. You pass by the Ancathras and you go onto their land, and back behind the Ancathra stables, there's this little wooded area that there's a small little road that has been cut through that's fairly new. Some of the trees have been cut by, and as you go up, you see freshly fallen trees as you get back up to the ruins that are now being squatted by the Stormpike Dwarven clan, which looks a little different than it did before. As you get closer, you see that they've got a couple of tents up. One very, very big tent that they seem to all be kind of coming in and out of. You walk up, you see several of the dwarves, the Stormpike dwarves, kind of just milling about outside. You see smoke coming out. Now, the ruins in the middle that I'm showing here, there is a large tarp over it, but what you see on the inside of that as you look through is that they have set up a forge on the inside, which was their plan, was to set this up as like a smithy. And you see they're already working that. You can hear the clanging and the banging of hammer against metal as they're beginning to work in there. And you see several other dwarves kind of milling about. As you walk by, you see one look over and go, "Oh, hold on now, can I help you?" And you see they don't recognize you.
Can I just do a perception check to see if it's safe? Like just look around and make sure that are these the same people we recognize?
Yes, you do recognize some of these dwarves that you met before. Yes.
Then I'd shift back and be like, "We're back. We've
As soon as you, sorry, I'm old school. I have to go get all my paper back.
Okay.
So as you go back at the dwarves, look over and goes, oh, Miss Anne. Sure. I believe you want to go to the tent in the back. I believe they're waiting for you there. And they look over and they see the old woman with you. It's like, who's that ugly old crone with you?
She's with me.
You sure? There's a lot of strange folk about.
Absolutely.
if you say so, but I believe what you're looking for is the tent in the back. And he's pointing towards this tent back here. As you get closer there, you see Thorbrick, who's kind of like the leader of the Dwarven clan. He's got like a big stein of ale, and he's in one hand he's got like this big pipe in the other. He looks over and goes, "Oh, Anne, come. Would you like to sit and drink with me for a bit?"
Can I take a rain check? And I would just love to check in on Uncle.
"Well, sure, just come on in." And he's motioning you to get closer. Now, what you remember is this tent is over the entrance. They basically put up a guise. And he's motioning over, "Go, sure, just come have a drink." And as soon as you walk in, there's like a rug down on the ground, and he's like made it into like his place. He kicks the rug over and pulls up. There's a latch here that you can go down. As he does that, he looks over and goes, "Yes, but who's this old ugly crone with you?"
I'm gonna speak in Dwarvish to him, shut it short stuff in a deep voice.
"Oh, well.
She's with me. It's
Maybe
okay.
I'll drink a couple of more of these, and you and I can have some
Okay.
words."
I'll be like, "I'm just kidding. It's me, Vimak. I have some things that get me extremely."
As soon as he says that, he just kind of like spits his ale out and goes, "Oh God, oh, why are you?"
I'll sit and have a drink with you. It's Martha. No, I'll tell him that I have some things that he will absolutely love to see, but we can't do it out in the open.
Sure. Go below. And he looks over and he calls some of his dwarven friends over to kind of cover as he comes down with you as well. Now, as you open the trap door to go into the crypt below, something new. As soon as you open, light is emanating out from under. This is a small light as you're moving into the crypt area. So now I went ahead and put you here just so I may need to zoom out because this map's larger. But they've got a lot of the braziers are actually lit as you walk in. They've actually set different areas up for each of you for like a quasi-living quarters. It looks like they, in the darkness of night, they went and salvaged a lot of the broken up furniture, anything they could from the old estate, they've pulled back in. So, they've got a place for Cordan up top. They've got Anne, you're down at the bottom. They've got a little place for Vimak. And then, Lorex, you've always kind of stayed close, to Miles, or Alaric, as we now know him as, but Miles up in the corner as well. So this is
on like a pallet on the floor next to his bed.
pretty much, yeah. You've got like a little bed, like a little throw rug that they let you sleep on the side. All right, so let me go ahead and okay. So as everyone comes back into, you're starting to see the beginning of everyone getting settled here. You see a couple of dwarves walking around. Remember, there's only 7 dwarves that came with the storm pike. You saw a couple up front. You saw Thorbrick. You see another couple here. So you're only seeing a handful of dwarves. We have lost. What has happened to Anne?
No, you're fine. You're fine.
You're like dying laughing.
7 dwarves, and
No,
I'm just thinking of like sneezy and sleazy and dopey or whatever their name.
Sleazy was not a dwarf.
Or whatever.
I don't think that's
Sleazy
not Sleazy was not the dwarf that I recall from Snow White.
Not
I don't know.
sleazy. Sneezy.
Sneezy, right?
You know.
Okay, so everyone moves back into this. You see both Lorex greet Miles as he comes in. You also see Saradwin as she comes out as well. And they greet you, and we'll just kind of move everybody back into this main hall here. Okay, so everyone's in the main hall. They've got the braziers lit. Miles comes out to greet you. He first greets Anne. Says, "Oh, Anne, so glad you made it here safely." And he looks over, and even though it's been raining and pouring, you look awful. As far as, I mean, how many different things exploded close to you, and you've been in the rain. So you look rough. All of you do, but he's more paying attention to Anne, who's just covered in spider gunk, dwarf gunk, everything that exploded happened right next to Anne. So you're just
fine. Like I've cleaned off my clothes and everything, and I wasn't out in the rain or nothing.
Lorex
You're
comes
still
out.
on the lamp.
Pristine.
Are you out of the lamp?
I come out of the lamp when Ulrich.
Right.
When I hear his voice, I come out and
Right.
I'm-
And just
I'm
so we
glancing
recall,
around.
Miles
Where's-
Hothamore, his name
where's-
originally was Alaric.
Where's
So-
the old crone? I heard
Ceridwen.
something about an old crone when up top. And did you bring an old crone with you?
Oh, because you can hear what was happening, but you
I
couldn't
can
see
hear.
what.
Yeah, I can't see.
Right. Are you still? An hour has passed at this point, so you shift back out of the old haggard-looking woman and turn back into Vimak, who's still kind of covered in junks here of just like dwarf and everything else on you, and Ceridwen walks over to you, also known now as Vodonia. She's the Baravan. She walks over to you, Anne, and she kind of recites an incantation, and all of that junk just disappears off of you, and she just kind of cleans both you and all of your clothing. And she goes, "Oh dear, that's just disgusting," and she just basically cleans it all off, and she looks over at Vimak, goes, and you too, and she kind of wipes you down well with this. She's like basically making this wiping motion, and it's cleansing your armor and even like all of your weaponry and everything. It's like it's getting like this shine back to it. Vimak, what is your reaction to this? Because how do you react to the magic that you're seeing here? This is something Anne has seen, is used to, but for you, do you have any?
I'm definitely taken aback at first, and then just kind of in wonder as I see, Vimak's not stupid, but he sees like the hand, kind of, and he equates it with her. It's like in wonder, because the magic I'm used to is more like runic. It's definitely not this type of magic.
Right. So she cleans you all off, and she looks over and goes, "Well, were you successful? Did you find it?"
We did.
Oh yes.
Well, quickly, where is it?
Vimak?
All right, so Vimak pulls the bag out. She sees the blood. She quickly pulls like this big like alchemy jar up under it and starts kind of like squeezing the blood out of it. And and she looks over at Miles. And says, "Miles, quickly, Alaric, please, bring me more of these." And he reaches over and he, out of like his bag, he starts pulling all these other jars out, and he starts setting them all next to it. She completely empties and drains the spectator, basically juicing this thing out and like getting all of the blood out into this vial. And as soon as she does that, she's going to start like reciting this incantation, and all of the vials next to it begin to copy the same fluid. And she's basically copying it from over to over until she has about eight giant like mason jars filled with this blood, as she just completely drains this thing out. So she looks at that and goes, "Well, that should be good. We'll just need some brushes and a mortar. We'll be okay." And she calls some of the dwarves over and says, "Quick, get some of my brushes out." And they go and they grab these brushes that they look like regular brushes, but as she starts dipping them and starts painting it, you just see like it magically just start like seeping into the walls and into the mortar itself. So the dwarves quickly go about basically painting the inside of the crypt with this beholder blood. And as she's doing that, Vodonia, Ceridwen, is walking around and reciting incantation. And as she does that, you see it go from wet to dry and kind of almost like harden into the in between the brick of every little stone as they're going about. And she goes, "Well, good, this room is safe." And then she moves around. So she's moving around with the dwarves and working on that. Now, as she is doing that, Miles looks over and says, "Well, Anne, please give us a report. What exactly happened?"
Quite an adventure, Uncle, actually. Well, we ventured into the Underdark.
Oh, you did?
We did.
It's quite dangerous.
Went quite dangerous, but we all survived. And
Where's Cordan?
He's met a new friend and gone making sure that they're okay. We're not quite sure. He ran off chasing Bodan.
Bodan? You found Bodan?
We found Bodan. Who's a hamster?
Well, okay, slow down. Wait, Bodan is... I knew he was reincarnated. I was...
As a hamster.
Oh, that poor Bodan. He was going to be so angry with me. How did you find it? What luck, what favor that you would find a lone hamster?
A lone hamster being protected by... I look at the other two. A new friend?
Now, why would
and
Bodan be
orcish
upset
greedy.
with you?
Say again.
You said that Bodan would be upset with you.
Well, of all the things in the world, he could have been returned as a lowly rodent, a hamster that's
Yes, but he is a mighty rodent.
the mightiest. The mightiest.
The mightiest of rodents.
Well, where is he? I'd very much like to speak with him.
Well, that's what Cordan's doing. Cordan's tracking him down.
Oh,
He went to run off and Cordan went chasing after him. So we hope that
how did you know it was him?
Cordan spoke with him.
Oh, yes, that does make sense.
Turned into a hamster.
I'm so
and spoke
excited
with him.
that my old friend Cordan is back. Well, what else happened? You went to the Underdark and you found a beholder?
Beholderkin.
Oh,
4 eyes, not...
oh yes, smaller. That's good. That's good thinking. They're easier to deal with than the larger variety. Anything else? Did you find anything?
Can't
We-
say that we didn't. Just kidding. Yes, we found a cache of mithril and
Ooh.
a book of some sort that Anne was carrying about now.
And at that, Soot would come out now as a pseudo dragon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Soot
hello.
has had a little bit of an upgrade. And Soot would probably
see
be
that.
very happy to see Uncle and move
You know
and
what's
fly
strange
over.
is his eyes are the same. It's funny how magic works. His
It's
eyes are the
wonderful
same.
how magic
It
works.
is. And one thing that you notice is that in all of his years, that now you realize he's this 1,000-year-old lich, he still seems to be marvel at magic, as if almost he doesn't fully understand it. Even after all this time, Ceridwen is the one that really understands the arcane ways. Miles, on the other hand, has a passing understanding and is still marvels at the simplicity of certain things. It's like someone who spent their whole life around being with a musician but doesn't really understand notes. It's just like, I love it, it sounds great, but I don't understand it. And that's kind of interesting to see this old, powerful lich who only has a passing understanding of the arcane. So as this report is going back and forth, Vimak, what are you doing?
I'm going to call the head smith dwarven over.
Okay.
And show him first. I'll pull out the dwarven plate mail. Show him.
Right. Okay, you pull out this dwarf. Oh, this is amazing. This dwarven plate mail. Where did you find it?
The tomb of 3 kings, 3 dwarven kings. Mold.
Glorwyn, Mitrakar, and
Glorwyn. I know that king. He was one of the... That's a very old tale. I know that. And it's Thorbrick you're talking to, the head of the dwarves. And he's sitting there, he's drawing back on his... Yes, I know that story. The 3 kings under the mountains. You found their crypt?
I suppose this would be
Yes.
Glorwyn's armor, then.
Well, that is a mighty find indeed. What do you intend to do with it?
We figured we'd pawn
Not
it.
sure yet.
You don't pawn it. That's Glorwyn's armor.
We need coin to build up this ruin.
Oh, there are other ways to raise coin. That you will not get a fair price for that. I'll trade for it.
Trade for it. What do you have? Oh,
Well,
from
we
a
built a
different dwarven
forge
king?
up top. Is there anything you need forging?
I've got a Glorwyn's armor guy. Give me 30 minutes. Can I give him a call? Get back to you.
Yes, Vimak will call a guy. He knows a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah.
Oh God, we're playing Pawn Stars in D&D.
Yeah. I figured that, they could probably put it to some sort of use. But,
Give you $10 in store credit.
I'm also
Best I can
going to
do.
pull out a mithril bar. Pull out a mithril bar and show him.
Oh, that's hard to deal with, but I can help you. You'll trade me that armor. I'll help you smelt that.
I'll say it's got friends.
Oh, does it?
And kind of clink, clink, clink the bag.
Oh, yes. Yes. We'll keep that armor, but What is it you would like us to make with that? A suit of armor of your own, perhaps?
Mithril would work, yes, mithril chain, so I am not constantly giving our presents away.
Oh no, chain, what about half plate? We could make it into big plate bars.
Yes, that sounds good.
Well, tell you
Yes.
what, you trade us that
You twisted my arm.
You trade us that dwarven armor, we'll get to work on crafting you not dwarven, sorry, but mithril plate of dwarven make. It'll be strong. You can help
Look
us.
at the other two and be like, is this okay with you guys? I don't want to speak for the party.
Hold on, the price we're getting for the armor of a dwarven king is that you'll take the rest of our metal and make us armor out of it.
Correct.
That's just the labor costs. You can't do anything to sweeten the deal.
Well, we're all in this together, right? We're trying to arm ourselves for the battle ahead.
Right, but I gotta clean up my language a little bit. yes, but you're taking me for a ride here. Huh? We're supposed to be in this together. Huh?
We are. That's why I'm helping you. And Miles looks at us. No, Thorbrick is good. We need armor and we need the resources. I'm sure they can come to some accord. We need all of the dwarves ready to fight and trained. And Vimak, you will help train them as well, will you not?
That's fair. Very fair.
Feels like a lot of give, is all I can say.
Lord.
Lorex, you hush, you old curmudgeon. And with that, and Miles just kind of hushes you.
Mithril is extremely hard to work with, so that's probably it's going to be time intensive. We'll
get to work on it. We will get to work on it. He goes, first we need to break open that last egg, and then we'll get to work on it.
Now we're talking.
Right. See, we can come to one accord.
Yes, one on accord. That's all I wanted. Just offer me a beer as well.
All right, so with that, Miles wants to hear more of the story, so he calls Anne over to kind of tell him more in detail of everything that happened. Lorex and Vimak, you go outside with the dwarves to the forge to crack the keg and also to begin working the measurements that will be needed to make your mithril armor from the cask of mithril bars that you found in the Underdark. So all of that work is tonight. Tonight's about drinking and measurements, and tomorrow will be the smelting itself. So everyone leaves to do that. So we're going to kind of fast forward just a little bit. Because if you look at all of the time that we've been adventuring together, only a few days have passed. So now there's going to be a couple of days that pass for downtime. And during this downtime, I need to know what each person is planning to do over the next couple of days. This is time for to kind of get used to your new home, to kind of meet some of the new people, to work on armor or train abilities. This is the time that we can kind of have, finally, this is our first downtime in 10 sessions. It's just been boom, 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 boom. So with that, we'll start down at the bottom. We'll go in reverse. So Vimak, what do you want to do? You wake up the next day outside with the dwarves after drinking, and they've already got the fire brewing, and they're getting the mithril bars out. Outside of forging this armor, is there anything else that you want to begin to work on?
You said to help train these guys.
Yes.
Miles wants me to help train them.
They trained before in these monk arts. They all know these fighting styles has kind of been handed down from generation to generation. It was taught to them by a Baravan ages ago, but they don't know weaponry that well. That's not something they're used to. They have very rudimentary skills with weapons. Now, as you recall, you also, I remember Wes saying that y'all played Supermarket Sweep through the armory of Xanathar and robbed them of all of their weapons and armor. So you have tons of axes and swords and chainmail. So basically you have everything now to equip a small garrison. So now all of the dwarves that are here will now actually have proper weapons, proper armor, and it's something that while you're also going to be working on your own armor, you can also spend this time to start training the dwarves as well.
Training them in combat, basically, with armor and weapons.
So what I want to do is
Okay.
you and Thorbrick are going to make this armor together, and we're going to have our first roll of the night. We're going to have our armor crafting. So you're going to get to roll this with advantage because you're working with Thorbrick. So I know that you have smithing tools. So what is now when you look at your character sheet, what does it say? What is the role for smithing? Do we know?
I don't even know where it is. I was
What is this role?
I know you add your proficiency. You would add your proficiency bonus, but then what modifier would the DM assign it?
I would probably say strength. I would probably say strength.
Okay.
So it'll be strength plus your proficiency modifier. And you get to roll with advantage.
Can I use my fire rune?
Well, you don't have the fire rune anymore. Or do you want to put it back on?
Yeah, definitely. Now that I'm out of the Underdark, if I can switch them.
You want to switch from stone rune back to fire rune. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so you switch back to fire rune. What does that give you again?
It gives you double your proficiency bonus.
For working the forge, right.
Nice.
Okay.
All right.
So roll with advantage, you're going to get your strength and then double your proficiency bonus.
All right, so 2d20.
Okay. Ooh. So you have a 14 plus your strength, which is plus 4?
Yes.
That's
18, and then proficiency is 3 plus 3, so 24.
Very good. So the DC on this was 20. And so you have passed the check to craft your mithril half-plate armor.
All right.
So it'll take 2 days of crafting, but that's the role that was needed. So you and Thorbrick are working and bending the metal, and he's teaching you how to work with mithril. It is very complicated. It is not banging iron like you're used to. This is something very, very complicated. And the thing that's very interesting about this is kind of a dwarven trade that is not normally shown to people who are not dwarvish. So this is actually kind of an honor, but to them, this is beyond dwarven pride. This is they realize they're at war with something bigger. So to them, this is like this is the thing we have to do. So he's actually helping you. So with that, you two begin working on that, and also over in the next couple of days, you're actually training some of the people in the basic on using some of these weapons. Now, you've seen the dwarves in combat before. They're not inept, but there's definitely some things that you could help them. They don't know it as well as you do. All right. So with that, what is Lorex doing over the next couple of days?
Lorex, he has proficiency with brewer supplies, and so he's gonna try and set up like a little microbrewery down here in the crypt. Maybe we can make a little extra coin that way, because this needs to be something where we're not just raiding dungeons and bringing back coin every week or two.
Okay, so we're going into Tavern Simulator at this point.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the thing. The dwarves are already kind of on this. They've set this giant tent up, not really for living quarters. It's their portable tavern. So they have created their own. So you're right in line with what the dwarves already had. Because when they're not logging and making and they're drinking and they need more ale than is readily available. So when you bring this idea to them, the other dwarves go, you're a good lad. So with that,
yes, I am.
What do you want to roll to create ale?
Oh, let's see. I would roll dexterity. No, I am. Let's see. Well, I can potentially roll Constitution to see if I can still do this while he's drinking.
So I think this is an intelligence check.
Okay, I can do intelligence.
Which I know you're not happy about because you're intelligent.
The only other thing I could try and wriggle is charisma, to be trying to sell the...
I think for the crafting, you're going to have to know the formula and the right...
No, I agree.
You curmudgeonly agree.
No, I totally agree.
Okay.
But I had to try. I had to
so the DC on this is much lower because we're not talking about mithril ale. We're talking about just making ale. All right, so get your proficiency bonus and your negative to intelligence.
It is a -1.
But you get your proficiency bonus.
But I get a +3.
and the dwarves will help you, so you will get advantage on this.
Here's my roll then.
Oh, perfect! Look at that. The 16 will get you there. All right, you're
and that'll
able.
be an 18.
You make some very fine ale. It's very good. In fact, when you drink it, you immediately know this is better than that swill the snow beetles are serving. So, if word gets out,
you really are taking this into Tavern Simulator. I got you.
I've had experience playing. This is not my first go at Tavern Simulator in D&D, and actually, it's kind of fun. All right, so now you have created your own brew that you know rivals anything outside the walls of Waterdeep, particularly here.
To name it something.
You think
I'll get
about
back to you on that.
You think of that. So, all right, is anything else that you want to be doing over the next 2 other than setting up the microbrewery outside?
No, he'll assist with some of the training.
Okay.
They're gonna need a fighting dummy while Vimak takes him through the paces, and Lorex can be fighting dummy.
Okay. All right. So basically, drinking and fighting, a good dwarven day. All right. All right. And with that,
there's nowhere to fish, so second best thing is fighting.
Anne, what have you been doing over the last couple days?
Anne would be spending as much time with her uncle as she can, talking and really just trying to learn a little bit more about the past and learn more about the collective, trying to gather more information.
Mm-hmm.
She would also express to her uncle, so I know that there's this thing that you can do with armor where I can shift my face and my look, but my clothes could shift too.
Oh,
and I can stay protected?
Yes. Yes.
How would I go about finding an object or someone to enchant my current armor?
Oh, and you're talking to a master tailor. All you have to do is ask. I will help.
Is that a possibility?
Yes, absolutely. I will help you. Would you like me to enchant the robes that you have on your clothing here?
Yeah, my studded leather armor would be fantastic.
Sure. I will get to work on that. I'll do it tonight while you rest. I have no need for sleep, so I do my best work.
Sleep?
I haven't slept in 5,000 years now.
What? How have I never noticed that you don't sleep?
Because you're asleep.
Got her.
Well, I guess the things that we don't know and we just assume.
Right. I am quiet like a mouse. No, he goes, no, sure, I will work on that for you tonight. And now I will tell you one thing that we have noticed. Ceridwen, I call her Ceridwen, but Fedonia, she's seen things. There are others who have answered the call.
Others?
Yes. We know that more of Vimak's tribe, they're on their way. The Valanavi clan are making way. They had a problem crossing the sea. They're taking a land route. It's longer, but they are on their way. They're bringing multitudes with them.
But crossing from Kamchatka.
There are others that are coming. Ones we did not expect. The wild ones. They wear... I did not know who they were. But I do know that they are crossing soon into Waterdeep.
Do we have space for them here?
I believe there's only a handful of them coming. I hope it's just scouts. But there were three. There were three that crossed into our vision that we saw coming. A small one. It seems to be their leader, a halfling or a gnome. And then two larger men were traveling with them.
How close were they? Should I be going into the town as Charlotte?
You could.
To see?
You could. I do believe that they will be making their way into Waterdeep in the next day or so. They mainly seem to be traveling at night. It's interesting. I don't know if they're thieves or whatnot, but they seem to be traveling only at night.
How about I go into town tomorrow and check?
Well, sure, just ask around. And he looks over and goes, Ceridwen, come here, please. Could you bring your crystal ball? Yes. And Ceridwen goes, yes, Miles, what is it you need? And Miles kind of humbly asked to use this. And he goes, show her the girl. He goes, "Oh, of course." Ceridwen pulls out and she recites this incantation, and you see the cloudy white of the crystal ball melt into this clear vision of this halfling that's walking around with it, this red-headed halfling female that has like this tri-rim hat and is carrying a rapier on her side, and is walking around very ornate-looking gloves, like fencing gloves you've seen, and you see that she is entering the town even now as we speak on the far side.
Okay.
He goes, "Oh, she's made it here, and well, of course it is the night. Would you like to go and see her now, or try to track her in the morning?"
Well, you've said they only travel at night, so they must rest during the day. Maybe I should go check on her now.
Well, you could.
Then I can lead them here and catch them, or at least intercept them on their way and give them or perceive check to see if they are of aid or...
Oh, good. You could size them up. Yes.
Yes. That's what I was trying to say.
Be sure to take Lorex with you.
Of course, Uncle.
And he claps and says, "Lorex! Where is that blasted dwarf?"
Hey, Lorex!
He's outside. He's not even here.
Do I still have the lantern?
You do.
Hey, Lorex!
Lorex, so you're outside, and is your practice? You're not practicing, but you're drinking. You're practicing drinking.
Yeah, I've got my great sword over one shoulder, and I've got a mug of ale in the other hand.
And out of the ring, you hear the ever annoying voice of Anne asking you, "Oh, Lorex."
Right again. I start downing more ale.
Lorex, we need you.
Fine. Top me off, will you? All right, and I top off my ale and I head down.
Okay. So you head downstairs and you see Miles greet you. Goes, "Oh yes, Lorex, please come. Anne has a small errand she needs to run in town. I'd like for you to go with her and."
She's not going into the Underdark again, is she?
Oh no. Hopefully, we're meeting a friend. We believe that
spiders.
We believe someone else has answered the call, and a small halfling or gnome. It's hard to tell, but anyway, you should go and be with her and keep her safe. But
sure, of course. We'll drag Vimak along as well.
And Ceridwen looks over and goes, "Well, Vimak is fine, but remember that you must keep him hidden."
We've only got an hour.
I stand out. It's the thing in town. I mean, you can turn into jewelry, and she can turn into whatever she wants. I can.
I can't last in there for all day. Once I'm in and I'm out, and and I can't do it anymore. That's only once a day.
Ooh.
I mean, I could just scout it. I can hide.
Miles, if you don't think I'll be recognized, I'll go with her. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll go with the girl.
I have a name.
We could put... I'm sorry, Anne. I don't know what
you.
name you're using today.
Just call me Anne, unless I specify otherwise.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
We'll put Vimak in a muumuu or something.
Well,
And a wig? Maybe a straw wig.
Vodonia looks over and goes, No, I can handle it. Now, Master Goliath, Vimak, if you don't mind, I can put something on you, an enchantment. You will be free to break it whenever you want, but I want to ask your permission. I can turn you into something that you could go secretly. I mean, you will not be able to speak, but you'll be able to see and perceive everything around you. But I want your permission first.
And what would this thing be that you're?
I can turn you. I can turn you into an animal. That way, you could travel.
More pets.
You could travel with Anne, and no one will know anything other than the fact that you're an animal. But you will be you. You will know you. But you cannot. You will not be able to speak. And at any moment you want to break the enchantment, you can.
And what animals do I choose?
What would you like to be?
I don't think it matters, does it? You're going to turn me into whatever you want. I don't know.
Danny, if you could be
Something
any
that can
animal,
fly.
what would you be?
Oh, would you like to be you want to be a fly?
No, something that might, like a bird.
Raven, eagle.
Or
Owl.
Would you like to be a raven?
Come on.
Yes,
Oh, sure, very
absolutely.
well. And with that, she begins to cast a spell, and as she's casting it, the room kind of like distorts as the power of this magic begins to like pull in. She reaches her hand and she touches you, and within an instant, there's like this poof, and Vimak disappears, and there's a little raven on the ground. She goes, it's been so long since I've got to polymorph someone. All right, so now we have the Goliath raven.
I have all the pets.
He just goes, Vimak! Vimak! All right, so...
You can only
Yes.
say his own name.
Yes, that's it. So Anne has got to catch them all. All right. You can travel in Anne's hood. It's super safe. That came from
It's the
chat.
safest place.
Listen, I was the one that did those rolls for the cat, just so we all are aware.
Right. All right, so with that, Lorex, you're going to be traveling with Anne, who will be in disguise as Charlotte in her other persona, and then also Charlotte will have a raven sitting on her shoulder, and a pseudo dragon. All the animals. All right, and with that, we will head back in. Now, for the sake of this this moment, we will not have your mithril armor ready yet. They need another day to create that, but they are working on it. So you can basically go run this errand, and then come back, and hopefully they'll be done with it by then. All right, so at this point, we're going to move back into town. And it's late at night. It's very late at night. All right, so we go back into town. As you head back into the trade wind area where like you're going through like the main merchant gate, you go in, and the gates are open, but there's a heightened security at night because there still are these attacks that are happening. We haven't seen them as much in Undercliff, but they're still very prevalent of all of these monstrous fae that are coming in and just like ravaging the countryside and livestock. And they are killing some people, but it seems to be mainly taking out livestock. And they've moved on now to just basically any animals. And not particularly they're not just killing like, pigs, but now they're going after horses. They're going after dogs. They're going after anything that is an animal at this point. Is
Ravens, hamsters, and pseudo dragons?
Ravens, hamsters, and pseudo dragons are definitely. Oh my! All right, so you move back into the gate. The guards look over. They see the half elf that seems to be kind of regal. You don't have your other armor yet, so Miles is still working on that. But at this point, you can move into town. Now, you could do some of your shopping that you wanted to do. It is late at night if you want to do that in the morning, and you still have the bounties that you could turn into the Yawning Portal as well. So those are some things you've got on your list that you need to get done. But at this point, where do you want to go? Where do you want to start? So where you think she came in was up towards the Upper Downs, which is on the far end north of town. It's pretty far, but it's basically you got to cut through the main part of the town to get there.
I would say that's probably I would say that's our mission, right? Like that's the first place we'd want to go before we drop off.
Now, Lorex, are you in the lantern itself, or are you just walking?
I am
with
not. No,
You're
I'm
just walking with her. Okay, all right. So you're just
Also,
walking with her.
While we're walking in, although I can't ask the Raven what he would like to be called, but I would want to make sure and tell Lorex call me Charlotte.
Charlotte,
And
very well.
what should I call you?
Oh, Rex. How about Rex? Rex is fine.
And can we think of something for Vimak?
With the Raven? Ravi.
Ravi?
The Raven.
All right, so you're moving into town
I'm sorry.
with Rex and Ravi the Raven and Charlotte. These are not the people you think they are. As you're moving up towards the town, you're moving about. You see a lot of ruckus happening down one of the streets. Now, as you're going by, you have to basically walk down the street. You see the Yawning Portal, always the scene of the crime, And you see that several of the guards and several paladins have moved in. There seems to be a fight or something is happening, but the guards are moving in to make an arrest at the Yawning Portal. So you're passing, something is happening there. Do you want to investigate that or just stay away from the guards?
Rex, what do you think?
What does Rex think?
I'm just here to follow and protect you. Charlotte?
Can I send Soot just kind of fly over and take a look and see?
You can. Do you want to go into Soot's eyes and kind of see what's going on?
No, I'll send Soot because Soot can send emojis.
Right.
GIFs.
Pseudo dragons
they
speak through images. So you
that
get
are like
these,
cat emojis.
like cat emoji. Right. Okay, so
It's so sad.
all right, so he flies over. He sees what's going on. There is a fight there, and you get back this image of two nondescript men, and another image of like jail gates closing.
Okay.
That's what you get. So 2 people are being arrested.
Not anyone that we recognized then, I would imagine.
In the image that Soot sent, no, you don't know. You just know that 2 people are being arrested. That's all you know.
Rex,
Oh, what did you see?
2 people are being arrested. I don't know if we know them.
Oh, is it the halflings who are supposed to be coming to...
How about you protect me and I'll take a look?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, and then I would go into Soot.
Okay, so you duck into a corner. You sit by like a barrel. You go eyes over. You go into Soot so you can see. You see the guards and the paladins or knights. You hard to tell. They're definitely knights. You see the heraldry of Helm arguing over these 2 people that they've arrested. And it seems that the guards want to take him into custody, but the knights or the paladins, whatever they are arguing, saying, no, this is our jurisdiction. We are taking these into custody. And you're not, do you want to get closer? You just see they're arguing. You want to get closer to kind of hear
I want to try and get close enough to be able to see who the people are.
In the darkness of night, you easily swoop in, and you hear the 2 guards say that we have jurisdiction over fighting the cult of the sovereign.
Mm-hmm.
Also, is Ravi with Soot? Would have Ravi gone and flown with Soot?
Ravi is...
Lorex?
I'm going to look at Lorex and go, rat the lap! And
Yeah, Lorex is super confused. He's like, do I protect the pseudo dragon? Do I protect the body? But Ravi, go help the familiar thing.
Okay.
yeah, I'll... Whatever. Yeah. Do I need to roll to fly?
No, it's natural. This is your natural movement. You don't need to roll to fly. All right. So at this point, we have the flying. You're like flying in formation between the raven and the pseudo dragon. You're like coming back in for a landing. All right. So the 2 of you are flying back. At this point, you see that the knights of Helm have won the argument. They are taking the 2 people into custody. They've got them arrested. They've got them basically in chains. And they're not taking them to a prison, but they're taking them back to the temple, closest to the Temple of Helm, closest to here.
And do either of us recognize them? Like, are they anything? Are they what Miles described?
You don't know. You only saw the halfling. These are just 2 humans. One looks older. One has like this overly sized like mustache. They both look like they're not dressed well. They look like commoners, or they look like just general riffraff. Could have been just people having a fight. I don't know. It's what sparked you is that they claimed arresting them over because of the cult. Like they have some type of jurisdiction when it comes to the cult.
Okay. I would go back to Lorex or Rex.
Right. All right. So, Ravi, the Raven, you see the pseudo-dragon start darting back. Do you stay in formation?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're basically staying with... So the two of you fly back. Now, y'all are all now back in the alley where you were. And Anne, or Charlotte, your eyes come back and you look around and you see Rex looking down at you, kind of shaking his head curmudgeonly because that's his natural stance.
Don't actually listen. Just go on, but hey.
I would first check around me and
Okay.
try and make sure that there's no one around before I start speaking about.
There's a lot of people passing. Even though it's late at night, it's a very busy street that you're on. You were just basically kind of sitting off to the side like a beggar in a way.
I would lean into Rex and say the helm is arresting people for the cult of the sovereign.
I think that's us.
I think so too.
Well, let's go get him out. See who it is.
I didn't recognize them. Ravi, did you recognize them? Squawk once for yes and two for no.
What?
Felt like two. It felt like two.
I'm not sure what that is, stupid bird.
It's not a stupid bird. Listen, you're such
let's
a
go
curmudgeon.
check it out. We couldn't talk to them.
What about who we're supposed to meet? What if we lose them to save these people we don't know?
We'll run into them eventually.
Okay.
Help off the ones who are in trouble or the ones who aren't in trouble?
Fine. Yes, you're right. Let's go.
I don't know. Look, we're split. Let's ask the bird. Ravi, flap your wings for go to the halflings and dance your talons for help the others.
Oh my lord!
I will dance my talons, whatever the hell that means.
You tap your talons on the barrel.
Like
click,
this.
click, 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 click.
Now,
Okay,
now,
yes.
excuse me, Charlotte. You have to admit he makes a fine dancer as a bird.
I'm just gonna ignore
All
Rex.
of this was just to get the bird to dance.
Correct.
Basically, yes.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll follow the direction that we.
Okay. So you follow the direction. You see the knights. There's two of them that have arrested these two, and as you get closer, the guards stop following as they kind of shove the two humans they've got arrested, and they push them into the temple. Now you're not that far. You're very familiar with this temple. It's not that far from where you study at the mages. So you're going basically back south of town down here where I'm pinging. So you're closer to the docks. There are a couple of temples of Helm. This is one that's kind of on the south side. You're familiar with it. You've walked by it several times. Never had any reason to go in there. And it seems to be one of the smaller ones compared to the others. You see these two knights walk in. You vaguely recognize them. Like maybe they are from this area, but you don't know them. You just familiar faces, if nothing else. But you see both of them push these two humans into the temple.
We need to make a distraction.
As you say that, you look over and you see tailing them. You're further behind. You see them ahead, and tailing those humans, you see this small little halfling or gnome-sized female dash and hide behind a barrel outside of the temple. Now, she is wearing the tri-rim hat that you saw in the vision of the orb.
Can I stealth up to her?
You may certainly try.
Oh, 17?
Hang on, I get advantage. Alright, so you start sneaking up to her. You see her stop and sniff the air. And she flashes and turns and grabs her rapier and stabbing it at you. Goes, "Why are you following me?
We're here to help.
Well, no one who sneaks up downwind will help me.
We're here to help. We know that you're here and you're answering the call.
What do you know about the call? Who sent you?
It's not safe to talk about that here. We're here to help you get your friends. And we can talk about that later.
Who do you serve?
Also not safe to say out loud.
Persuasion check. Yes.
15?
You bring up a good point. I'll follow you. Who sent you, though?
I just told you I can't tell you.
I know, but I'm following you now. You can tell me, right?
I'll tell you a little later.
Okay. And so she follows you, and it's not an she's a halfling, and as she's following you, she looks over and she sees the dwarf, and she goes, "Are you traveling with that one?"
That one. And the 2 flying things.
That's your backup. This is the reinforcements that you're sending.
We're stronger than we look.
Perfect. You make a distraction. I'll run in and get my friends.
We're the distraction.
Well, of course. I know what I can do, and I assume you're good at making noise.
I don't like that at all. Hey, Lorex.
Huh?
I walk up.
We need
Yes.
to make a distraction.
Very well. I march into the temple.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, let me set the scene.
Lorex is going to bust in like Kool-Aid.
All right. So let's back this up a little bit here. All right. Yep. So this building here, you have to zoom. This map is large. Go to like 50%. I'm pinging the temple here. Okay. Everything right here. Okay, so here's the Temple of Helm. All right. Across the street is where we're having our little conversation between these two. But there's this little alley here. So the 3 of you, or 2.5 plus, or I guess that still makes 3 if there's 2 animals. So the 3 of you and the halfling, back to halves, are here having this conversation. The halfling believes that you would be fine to make the distraction, and she will run in and save the day. That is what that is her plan.
And Lorex goes, and he's gonna march. He's gonna march his way to the temple. He's gonna go make a distraction.
Okay. The doors are closed. There's no one out there. Are you just gonna knock?
Yeah.
Walk?
Knock pretty loud.
So you knock loudly. Right before you go to knock, you hear the screaming and wailing of coming inside, and you hear the sound of what sounds to be whips. Something very bad is happening inside. So you're like, woo. And you hear you just hear whipping, and you hear screams coming from inside.
I pound on the door anyway.
Boom, 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 boom. It stops. You still hear, some not whimpering, but you definitely hear these people inside, and the door opens up and to a small crack, and you see the face of one of the knights of Helm look over. He goes, "It's a little late in the hour. We're doing our God's work in here. What can I help you with?"
Is it too late for parishioners? You just close the door.
It is. Come back in the morning.
What
Click.
are your hours? Wait, hold
he's-
on. Pound on the door again if he closes it.
All right, so he opens again. He goes, "Unless you want to join in on what's happening inside, I suggest you leave."
Well, isn't this worshipping that's happening?
No, this is interrogation. This is interrogation.
Interrogation? What kind of interrogation?
And that's
yes, I'd
enough
love
of it.
to see. And I try to kind of push my way.
As you go to push the door, he stops and he goes, "I command you in the name of Helm to leave. Make a wisdom saving throw."
A wisdom saving throw is what I'll do.
And
17.
I got a 9.
I have 2 rolls.
Womp womp.
Wait, hold on.
My
well,
rolls.
it'd be the first one. It's the 9.
The 9.
Sometimes it rolls it twice. I don't know why.
So
The
he
9.
says, I command you, and you immediately goes, that sounds like a brilliant idea, and you turn and leave. And the door closes.
I waved to him a hearty goodbye, though. I'll be back in the morning. I'm making a lot of noise about it. I'll be back in the morning.
All right, so the Raven, you're sitting there. You see your dwarf friend get just totally rejected as he leaves. Is there anything the Raven wants to do?
Yeah, it wants to reflect on how he turned himself into a bird to remain inconspicuous, and his friend just walked up to the enemy's front doors and was banging on them. He wants to reflect on that a little bit. And he actually admires it a little bit. That's ballsy. I'll fly. Are there any, can I fly into a window?
You absolutely can. So at the side of this, there's these large windows. You do fly up. You see a crease that you can kind of see inside. You could probably wiggle yourself in there if you wanted to. But you look in and you do see the 2 knights. You also see what looks to be 2 priests in there as well. And they've got the 2 men chained down onto the ground. And they're just beating them mercifully with these whips and asking lots of questions about, who do you serve? Why are you here? And all that thing. And as they're beating them, you can see the 2 men are fighting, and but the chains that they're on seem to be burning their hands, like actually being branded. The chains are actually burning. You actually smell the flesh of these chains that are burning them.
Who's doing the Is it the 2 knights doing the whipping?
One of the knights is standing back. One of the other knight is doing the whipping, and then the 2 priests are doing the questioning.
Okay.
Right now, it looks like they're working on one, while the other one is just on his side, being burned by the chains.
Right.
You could wiggle yourself.
Fly
in
back
there
to
if you
them
wanted to. You could wiggle yourself in there if you wanted to.
All right. Well, I'll do that. I'm going to wiggle in, and
you see everyone else
fly over to the.
You see him kind of disappear into the side of the building. So now you're inside the building itself. What do you want to do?
Yeah. I'm going to kind of fly around a little bit, see who else is in here.
You fly around.
My keen raven.
Your keen raven eyes, as you're looking over the scene, you only see the 6 people that I've described: the 2 knights, the 2 priests, and the 2 prisoners. Give me a perception check as you're flying around, and roll it with advantage.
All right. Let me see what I.
Because you have the high ground.
He's a burb.
Get a +3.
And he's a bird.
All right.
Burb.
Perception. All right. That's shift, correct?
It is.
$17.
I will send you a text message.
Oh boy.
Like high school all over. We used notes
I'm
back
sending
then.
secrets.
Actually, way back in the day, the patented move, because we didn't have cell phones and technology or passing notes. I would say, Danny, can I talk to you in the other room for a minute? And I would just leave the game with the player, and then the player would always come back with this, "Oh my god, this is awful," look in the face, and all the other players are like, "What just happened?" But we can't do that anymore.
I thought you meant high school because Danny made that comment. Like, hey, Danny, can I talk to you in the other room? And both of you just walk out. Teacher.
Oh, all right.
Down pooch. We got D&D.
All right. So you fly around. You see what you see. You see the 6 people. You see what you see. From there, what does the bird want to do? Now, y'all are outside. So Charlotte, and Lorex and the girl.
Is the halfling still standing with Charlotte?
Well, she was expecting you all to make some type of distraction, which you failed to do. So she's just barking at you like, "What are y'all? Y'all are good for nothing.
You're supposed to go around the back or something."
I'm going through the front door. I need you to make a distraction.
Say where to make the distraction.
I'm going to go kick that front door down and get my friends back.
Well, I would have made a distraction somewhere else if you and I had known that.
As you three are having this conversation, what is the bird doing?
Is that me? All right, so is this object in the same room
Yes.
as them?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to land on it and start squawking.
Okay, so you land on it, and you all can hear this squawking. The screaming has abated, and now all you hear is the raven squawking from the inside. It's pretty loud on the inside of the room, and you hear a lot of screaming like, "Get off that! Get off it! Get away! Get away!" You can hear this outside, and with that, the girl goes, "Good enough," and she starts running towards the front door.
I'm right behind her.
Okay.
Do I feel compelled to not follow them?
As soon as Anne or Charlotte leaves, you feel compelled to follow.
Okay, well, the command, I didn't know if it was still in effect.
No, that's just one round.
They just wanted me to walk. Okay, well, yeah, I ran after them.
Okay. All right, so at this point, you run after. So all three of you go. As soon as you get to the door that are like closed and locked shut at this point, the girl runs up and she just lifts up her little halfling foot and kicks at the front door. It's going to be an 18. So she reaches back with her foot. She kicks the doors. The doors break open at the might of this little halfling. She runs in, and now we're at another scene.
Please tell me she's a barbarian.
Oh my gosh, I'm so here for this.
Oh my god, here we go.
All right, so let's get some people here on the board. All right, so we have the halfling. We have, where are my players? We have Anne, who's going to be behind her. We have Lorex, who's going to be behind her. We have Vimak, who is all the way. Where is this happening at? Yeah, you're like on this. It's like here on this little. There's a table right here that you're on there. All right, and then we also have. Let me go to my library. We have this priest. We have this priest here.
An old priest and a young priest.
Hang on. Oops. And then we have these two knights. And then we also have these two people here that are getting beaten. All right, so this is the guy that's getting beaten. This is the guy that's tied down with the chains. And you have one knight back here, and then you have another one up there. And with that, as soon as the doors are broken, everyone turns and look. Everyone roll initiative. So let me pull up the initiative tracker. All right, we're going to give her a turn, so add turn.
If I knew we were busting through the door, I would probably change out of Charlotte into just like a commoner, something you wouldn't notice, so that poor Charlotte's identity doesn't also get in trouble.
Some featureless woman.
Yeah.
All right, so let's figure out where initiatives are here. We have... Did Vimak just roll a natty?
Vimak did.
Vimak rolled a
On
nat
initiative.
on initiative. That's amazing. All right. Our little halfling friend here is going to roll a 13.
I know her dexterity now.
The priest are going to be going at a 16.
Ooh.
The knights will be going on a 13. And Anne / Charlotte, what did you roll?
An 8.
An 8. bringing up the rear. All right.
Yep.
All right, that looks good. All right, so the turn order is going to be Vimak, followed by the priest, followed by the halfling, followed by the knights, and then down at the bottom we'll go Lorex and then Anne. For the sake, if we get a chance, the two prisoners will go on Mari's turn as well. So with that, Vimak, you are in Raven form. What will you do?
It looks like a pretty big, like, room. How high are, like, the ceilings?
Huge. The room's huge,
How
like 20 feet. It's like vaulted.
All right, Okay. I'm going to fly up as high as I can
Okay.
above this priest and turn back into Goliath. I'm going to drop on him.
Yes.
Get
All
him.
right, and this is the point where the DM's like, okay. So you turn into now. Are you wanting to basically do like a falling maul attack, or are you just trying to body slam the priest?
I didn't know if I would have time to turn back, grab my maul as I'm falling.
I'm going
I
to give
didn't
it
know.
to you
That was
because it's freaking awesome. All right, so you fly up, you end the polymorph, you turn back into this 7.5 foot tall Goliath. You fall down, landing on top of. Now you've got the older one and you have the younger one. Which one do you want to get? The older one? Which one?
Yeah,
Okay.
the older one.
You come down, he's holding a staff. You will get to roll with advantage as you come down. So I'm going to give you your full action. So flying up, I'm going to say ending polymorph is a free action. Do you want a bonus action before you roll your attack?
Yeah, let's I'll giant might in the air.
All right, so you get even
Yeah.
bigger, and you turn into not just a Goliath, but a large Goliath as you go Giant's Might, invoking the Rune Knight ability. As you fall down, you have the high ground as you're falling down. You will roll with advantage as you attack
Get him.
the Priest of Helm.
It's over, Anakin.
All right. Where are my? Okay, there we go.
All right, so we're going to roll with advantage with your maul as the giant Goliath is plummeting to the earth on top of the lonely Priest of Helm. Roll your dice, man.
Did it roll?
Yes, it did. 23 will be the number. Now, that is not a natural 20, but it's 23. And then 13 points of bludgeoning damage as you bring it down on top of him.
Wait, 13 plus.
Oh, and then roll another d6. The 13 is correct. You just need to roll another d6 for the Giant's Might, or the Giant's Might damage. So roll another d6. All right. So 13 plus 1 is 14.
Let's re-roll that.
You can't re-roll that one.
Let's re-roll that. Oh, you can't roll. That's right.
Okay. So it's 14 points. So you go down, you land, you basically punt this guy down to the ground. Using Crusher, you knock him all over to the ground. You hear his ribs break. His arm breaks as well. He's laying on the ground. He is not dead, but he is on the ground and several things on him are broken. You have another attack. Do you want to swing at him again?
Yeah.
Okay. This attack will not be with advantage.
Gotcha.
And you will swing again and get a... Here come the dice.
I don't know why it's rolling so many.
It's okay. No, it does that in case you get a crit. All right, so 24. So it's a 17 plus 7 is 24, and another 11 points of damage. The first attack, you knocked him on the ground with your Crusher feat. You actually would have been with advantage, actually. And then you also come around, you hit him again. This time, you land the maul directly into his chest. His entire ribcage collapses under the weight of your maul, and he instantly dies in front of you.
Do I, like, slam into the ground, or am I...
You're okay.
Nice.
You heroic leap, Avenger style, onto the ground as you swing your maul at him twice. All right, so that is Vimak's turn. At this point, we will now go to the other priest's turn. Okay, and he is going to... He reaches up, he grabs this little, like, this cudgel, like this golden cudgel that he's got. He goes up in the ground and he goes, "Spirits of Helm, protect me!" And with that, all these spirits start flying out around this vortex around him.
Oh boy.
As all of these guardians start flying around him. Vimak, you need to make... Alright, so you're going to take 3d8 radiant damage on a failed wisdom saving throw. So make a wisdom saving throw.
Right. Roll.
Oh yeah, you're taking 3d8.
Okay.
So take 10 points of radiant damage from the spirit guardian. Do you want to do anything with that? You have buttons to push. You're just going to take it on the chin. All right. So now he's got spirit guardians flying around him. He is then also going to step forward and make these other two guys, the prisoners, roll that as well. And the first guy will fail it. And the second guy will also fail it. So they'll both fail it, and they'll take that 3D. It's the same damage, so 10 damage. So they both take 10 as well. So these guardians are going around, and what you see is like these like small angels running right, flying through the air with these lances, stabbing you. You feel the radiant damage like slash through your arm. They fly around. They start stabbing the two men who are just like just on the ground, like screaming from being branded, from having these chains on them. Now they're being stabbed by these little flying angels. And with that, we go to the halfling. The halfling runs. She throws her sword down onto the ground. And you see as she's running, she grabs her shirt, she rips it open, and you see all this fur start like growing out of her as she turns into a bear.
It's amazing.
This is amazing.
Right.
More pets, more pets.
Oh no, she is a bear folk. As she runs out, she's still the size of the halfling.
She's a little cub.
She's like this little raging
baby
Ewok.
bear.
Who's an
Baby
Ewok?
bear.
Comes running over and slashes at the knight. The first attack is going to be that will hit, and it'll 11 points or 12 points of damage. The second attack, the other claw, will also hit, and that will be wrong dice. So we got 12 damage and 7, so 20 damage, and then she's going to go in for the bite, and that will also hit.
The first claw.
So claw, bite.
Oh boy.
First claw was too light. The second one was too heavy, and the third one was just right.
All right, so this little halfling just starts just mauling and just like growling and just tearing. And this knight with his giant greatsword is just getting mauled by this little bear. All right, so that was okay. And with that, we go to the knight's turn.
Bear arms.
He has the right to bear arms. Look,
He's a
if
bear.
we don't hurry up, this combat's going to get unbearable.
Oh!
All right, and with that, we're going to move right along to the knight's turn. The knight will pick up his greatsword and swing back at the little bear, hitting the bear for... actually, the bear will dodge that attack. The second attack will come down, and the bear takes that. The bear will take 8 points of slashing damage. All right, so he dodges the first one as it kind of rolls out of the way because the knight's not looking at the size of it. He turns around and hits it with the second attack, and that does actually land true and hit the knight. Now, with that, the second knight runs over and will attack Vimak. He runs over brandishing his greatsword and will attack. He will not get advantage because he's not flanking him. A 3 will not hit. And the second attack, an 11 will not. So he comes over to swing both. You pull your maul up and you parry both of the attacks. The size and of the maul, it would take someone extremely strong to move this thing as deftly as you are. He's swinging this giant sword, and you're able to just easily parry both of these attacks as the knight is coming at you. Now, with that, we go down to Lorex's turn.
Lorex will draw his greatsword, and he's going to yell to Vimak, "Get clear! I'll give you some cover!" And he'll run up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish. And I will hold my action to cast a spell after Vimak's turn.
Ooh, I like it. All right, Anne, your turn.
This guy's almost okay. I'm gonna run up, here-ish to be able to like duck behind said pole for protection. I'm gonna cast sleep.
Ooh, okay.
And see if I can knock them out. Because our plan was not to kill everybody, was literally to save people. So if I can stop.
I think Vimak missed the memo on that.
Esmodee said, that was your plan.
All right, so who are you targeting with sleep?
Well, I'd be targeting this guy first. And
All right.
then going to like the back people if I can.
I understand. All right, hit the first guy with sleep. Roll your sleep.
Is it rolling? I'm hearing bloop. Oh, okay. That's not actually casting it.
You're showing me the spell, and now I know exactly what the spell looks like. Thank you.
I'm trying to roll. Okay, so 5d8.
All right, so roll your 5d8.
Okay.
I'm going to try to put him to sleep.
It's 19.
Okay, so that's not enough to put the knight to sleep. Neither one of them. It's not enough.
Okay.
Okay, so you cast sleep, but it is not effective against these two. No, neither one of them. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so you cast sleep, it doesn't work. Now we move to...
Information gathering is what it is.
It is. Now you know how many hit points I have. It is now Vimak's turn. Did you want to hold your action until Vimak does something, Lorex?
I do.
Okay.
End of his turn.
Okay.
End of his turn. So after Vimak goes. Okay.
So you said to clear. He said clear out, right?
Clear out. Hit him first, and then clear out.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Will do. All right. All right, first swing.
Okay. So you swing with the giant maul at the knight.
Roll.
Yes, it did. 23. So you rolled a 16 plus 7, 23 to hit for 12 points of bludgeoning damage. Now, here's the thing with that. You can roll
I don't think he added the Giant's Might, did he?
You add another d6, yeah. So 17 points of damage. Okay.
All right. And second?
Mm-hmm. That will miss. All right, so you roll an 11. All right, so the first that you hit, you clang into his armor. You feel things breaking under the armor as you pull it back. You go to swing the second one. He dodges back out of the way. You notice that his fighting stance and style, he's very trained. These are veterans. They know what they're doing. They're not your typical guards. They actually know how to handle themselves. Now, you've made your 2 attacks. What else do you want to do?
I'm going to action surge and swing again.
That means you'll swing 2 more times.
Okay. Those
yes.
All right, so action surge to swing around and hit 2 more times. The first attack will be a 9, which will miss. And the second attack will be a 19 plus 7 is 26 for 13 points of damage. And then roll another d6 for... Okay, so 17 and 17 is 34 total damage. He's still up. He's hurting.
All right, I'm going
to... Now, you can crush her if you want to move him 5 feet away from you.
Well, yeah, I'll move him backwards.
Okay, so you move him to here. Okay, so with that second
Yeah.
attack, you activate your Crusher feat. You use the full weight of the maul to lift him up off his feet. You knock him away 5 feet. Now, at this point, you can move without provoking an attack of opportunity.
Right. I'm going to, since he want me to clear out right here.
Okay.
Run up the steps a little.
Also, make a Wisdom saving throw for Spirit Guardians.
Hey.
Yeah, Vimak.
All right.
You started your turn, and you're still in the aura of Spirit Guardians. Oh, nat 20! So you're only going to take half damage. So instead of taking 16 damage, you'll take 8.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Do I have a reaction?
You do have a reaction.
I'll Stone's Endurance.
Okay, roll d12 plus your Constitution modifier to try to negate 8 points of damage. Let's see if he does. Odds are with him.
12 plus 3.
Yeah, so 9. So you did not take that damage. So that angel with a lance came down. You just flexed your muscle really hard, and it blocked off the damage because you're just that ripped. All right, and and with that, Vimak, your turn is over. So Lorex, you were holding your action.
Lorex drives his sword into the ground and casts Sleet Storm centered on this point. So it'll just barely get this guy here.
I got you.
And the radius goes from here to here.
All right, let me go get my spell effects again.
Can you remind us about Sleet Storm, please?
Yeah.
I would love to. Let me hit the cast Sleet Storm button. Ba-da-doom. Until the spell ends, freezing rain and sleet fall in a 20-foot tall cylinder with a 40-foot radius. Area is heavily obscured. Exposed flames are doused. Areas covered in slick ice, making it difficult terrain. And if you start your turn there or enter it for the first time on a turn, it's a dex saving throw or fall prone.
Okay. So you're basically setting this up to hit all of the priest and the 2 knights, but no one else.
Right.
Okay.
And the guy fighting our little bear friend.
Right. That's a knight. So there's 2 knights and a priest. Okay.
Yeah.
So they have. Sorry, go ahead.
And if a creature starts its turn in the spell's effect and is concentrating on a spell, con saving throw or lose concentration.
All right, so he needs to make a dex save. So this guy needs to make a dex save or fall down, correct?
Mm-hmm, correct.
All right, and what's the dex save he's got to make?
13 is the DC.
All right, so this one passed it. The one that was fighting Mr. Vimak will pass it. And the priest in the back will... Look at me rolling hot. I'll pass it.
Does he maintain concentration? It's a con save.
That is a con save. Yes.
Oh, come on.
All the bad rolls I made last week are being caught up. You put me on 4 saves. I passed all of them. So finally, the DM's revenge.
The DM's revenge.
Listen. All right. And with that, we go to the priest's turn. Now, in the sleet storm, I am heavily obscured. Can I see a target?
He can't see a thing.
He can't see a thing. All right. So what he's going to do is try to move out of that and get up here.
Only he can see the edge.
Well, he can move back and move up the edge, but he has to make a save.
It's centered right here, and it's 40 foot, so it goes all the way to the back.
Okay, so there's really no getting out of this. That means Vimak also needs to make a roll.
Yeah, it's 8 squares. When he starts his turn there, yes.
Okay. Well, he can't see anything. Well, I guess he'll just cast Dispel Magic. Yep. 10 plus Dispel's level. What level spell is that?
That is a 3rd level spell.
That is a 3rd level spell. I will try to Dispel Magic on that. I will dispel that magic.
Look at how happy he sounds.
He does have Dispel Magic. Alright, so that's Dispel Magic. And that's it. That's his turn. And now it is time for let's see. Oh, so that was the priest's turn. He did that. Now it's the knight's turn. The knight down here attacking the halfling bear will roll his first attack and miss. And then I should be doing that over here. He'll roll his second attack and get a 19. Plus 5 is 24 and deal 8 points of slashing damage to the little bear. But still half man. Halfling bear. And the other, this one here is going to chase after Vimak. And when he gets up to you, he is going to swing and miss. And he will make his second attack, which I should be doing over here. 8. He misses both. So he's chasing you. Y'all are having this epic duel where he just cannot seem to get through your defense. And with that, we go back to Lorex's turn. So Lorex, back on your turn.
Oh, great. Lorex is going to run by this guy.
Okay.
Swing his sword at him. Am I flanking?
Yes, you are. So you get advantage on the attack.
I will roll with advantage.
We'll go with the 19 because you rolled double 19. Double 19! Yeah. All right. So that
and mistakes were made though. That's fine. 2d6 plus 4. And I'll add the 2 Genie cold damage.
Okay.
So that'll be 13 damage.
Wow. Okay. That definitely hit. So you cut him. He's kind of leaning back down as the blade cuts through. You find flesh under his armor as you cut him. He is still standing.
I will use my bonus action to do what I forgot to do, and I will hex him, and then I'll hit him again with the sword.
Okay.
Hit him again, Ike.
What's that? 12.
That is a plus 7, so that's a 19.
All right, so you go to 19. He will use his reaction to parry the attack, add it to his AC, and block the attack.
Oh, he just needed the 1?
Yep. All right, so that second attack, he goes and he blocks that attack. And with that, we will go to Anne.
So one of the guys, were they both chained down?
Yes.
Or only one was chained down?
Both of them are chained to the ground, and even from your vantage point, you see those chains are still burning their flesh.
I'm gonna run up and see if I can help them.
Okay.
So I'll dash as my bonus action to get up there and see if I can do anything.
Give me a quick perception check. You look down and you see that the metal that is these are not regular chains. Like you see he's chained and it's like all the way bolted into the ground. The loop that's bolted in the ground looks like it's iron. The chain and the manacle itself looks like it's made of pure silver.
These are were people.
Mm-hmm. Can I break the iron from the ground? Like, can I break the loop?
You could try to pick the lock and get the locks off of him.
Let's do that.
Okay. Give me a sleight of hand check.
Ooh,
and do you have
6?
thieves? Do you have thieves tools?
I do have thieves tools.
Then you use your proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
All right.
I clicked a button.
You click the button, it happened. 22 for your sleight of hand check. You run, you dash, you slide over, you pull out the tool, you slide it into, and you click it really fast. The manacles break. As soon as they break, you see him look over at you, and his eyes turn feral as he kind of nods at you. And with that, we go to Vimak's turn.
All right, knight in front of me.
Okay. All right, swing. All right, so the maul will attack with a mighty 12, and you will miss. The second attack, 17 plus 7 is 24. That'll hit. That is 12 points of damage. I do see that one of those dice that you rolled there was a 2, so you can re-roll it with your... So re-roll that one because you've got your great weapons of 5. All right, so what you're looking at now is 5 plus 5 is be 13, and then roll another D6. So now you're 13 plus a D6. 17 damage. All right, with that, you will actually down the knight. The weight of the maul was more than he could bear.
All right.
All right, so we've got a knight down. You've got a priest down. You still have one priest up, and then you still have the knight fighting the bear and Lorex down towards the entrance. So you've used both of your attacks. You still have your movement action. Oh, at the start of your turn, make a wisdom saving throw for the spirit guardians that are still in the room.
Wisdom.
Oh, womp womp womp, 3d8. Take 11 points of radiant damage.
I beg to differ.
Oh, who's going to take
think-
that?
I think the priest is gonna.
You know,
He
this
can't
is
do it to
interesting.
himself, can he?
But
Stabbed by his own guardians.
here's the thing, though. It's his effect.
I would. I don't know.
Is it the
Probably
effect
not.
that gets moved or the damage?
Well, wording is pretty vague. Let me see.
It's vague. You have to target another creature. The problem is this is. I'm going to say for the sake of this, for brevity, that you can redirect the damage back onto the priest, because it's not a spell he's directing at you. In that case, you couldn't. But this is an effect that he has out. So I will rule here that you can put the effect back on him. So he will take the 11 points of damage, and he will have to make a concentration saving throw to see if he can keep the guardians up, and he cannot. So the spirit guardians drop from the cloud rune being invoked. So the rune knight invokes the cloud rune. The damage from the spirit guardians goes back to the priest, and he fails to save. The spirit guardians drop. That is, again, an amazing ability that we get to see the cloud rune go into action. And with that is Vimak's turn is done. Unless you want to
Stop
move.
hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Why are you hitting yourself? You should-
Exactly.
All right, so where's Vimak going?
No, I'll stay there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. With that, it is the priest's turn. The priest is going to make a run for it. 5, 10, 15, 20. And as he's running, he's going to turn and he's going to look at Vimak, and he is going to cast Guiding Bolt at 2nd level.
Is that a dex? What is?
I have to roll to hit you. 13 to hit is not going to hit. So this giant bolt of energy blasts off. You duck. It hits the back wall. You see part of the wall itself crack under the weight of the blast that hits as he continues to run off to the side. Now, with that, we go to the little halfling bear, who is going to continue to try to, and this attack will be with advantage, the claw attack, but we'll miss. The second claw attack will be a natural 20.
Yes.
So the little bear that could will hit for 17 points of damage.
Oh my.
So the knight is paying attention to the dwarf, and as he turns around and looks, the bear reaches over with its clawed hand. It reaches into the neck of the knight itself and lifts the head and flings the head over the shoulder as the body just kind of falls over to the ground. Blood splattering. Now this bear is got silver and white fur that's now like bleached red with the blood of the knight as he falls over and the head is being flung over its shoulder. This man that you just helped get the shackles off, he stands up and rips out of his clothes as well and turns into like this 6-foot giant bear.
Like
and
these guys.
This guy is a black bear. And
The best
he's
kind of bear.
Yes.
Polar bears.
Yeah, so 5, 10,
Oh,
15.
you
So
can make
he's
a
going to roll. He's going to run over and try to maul the little priest guy here.
Bears.
That will hit.
Wow.
So the first attack hits. The second attack is going to hit. So the bear is going to go claw, and just basically, and bite will be the final attack. Both the claws hit, but he misses with the bite. So it's claw. He's just ripping at this priest who's just getting mauled by this bear. He goes to bite. The priest ducks out of the way at the last second as this bear is just mauling into him. And with that, we move to the knight's turn, who does not have a turn because he is mostly dead. And then we go to Lorex's turn.
Mostly dead.
So the only target still up is the priest.
I can make it.
All right, so the dwarf with his little dwarven feet sprints across the temple floor slides next to the giant black bear who's mauling the little priest. And what is the little dwarf going to do?
He'll do like a sliding stab with the great sword.
All right, so you're going to
end of his
sliding stab with his great sword.
Sliding stab.
And then with advantage, you will roll and get 13 plus...
plus 7 is a 20.
20. Wow, yeah, that will definitely hit. So roll your damage. So roll your 2d6 for the sword. So
All right.
Little dwarf that
Yeah,
could.
plus 6, so there's 12 damage.
12 damage. All right, so what does it look like as you kill the priest?
So it's getting mauled by the bear, and Lorex just kind of runs up, and with the last of his movement, just kind of slides in with the sword and just right into his abdomen, like right up under his
So
ribs.
you just impale I like it. All right, you just impale the poor priest, and then as you pull the sword out, the priest just falls over dead. Now, as all that's happening, you hear this voice. So I look over, and you hear this guy look over, and goes, "Please help me! Can you get these chains off?" And he's talking to you, Anne.
I would pick the locks.
All right, so you go and you pick the lock. They fall over, and he goes, and as those bracers fall off, these manacles fall off. You look, and it's just burned into his flesh. And he's like, "Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Where are you?" And he looks over, and he sees the little bear, still just mauling, just ripping off, pieces of this knight. And he goes, Mari, come quickly, Mari. And you see this little bear running over. And only thing that the little bear is carrying is the left shoe of this knight. As he runs, as this little Mari runs over with the left shoe. And, he goes, "Oh, put the shoe down, quit collecting those." And the little Mari bear drops the left shoe, and she shapes back into, her halfling self.
I feel like we should make this look like one of the animal attacks. And get out of here.
Yes. And Mari goes, "Quick, we've got to get out of here. Thank you for help. You did much more than make noise, but we did it. We saved them all." And the other bear walks over. He very nonchalantly just walks, and as he takes a step, his fur just kind of shakes the fur off, and he turns back down. The older one, who just turned back from bear to human, he did it in a much less savage way. To him, he was just like shaking it off. He could tell he's older. He's more used to it. He walks back, and now the three bears are sitting here, looking over. So, Anne.
It's Goldie Lorex. Goldie Lorex and the three bears. All right.
So, Goldie, Lorex, and the three bears.
Okay. What was your question? Sorry, Dean.
All right, so at this point, you have assaulted a Temple of Helm. You've murdered the priest and the Knights of Helm, and you freed the cultist from the Temple of Helm. So, Anne or Charlotte, what would you like to do now?
I would look at Buddy and say, "You're still following us, right?"
Are you asking this to who?
To Mari.
Mari looks and goes, "Oh, yes, you said something about... Can you tell us now that we've killed everyone?"
No, where it's safe. I should say we should make this look like the animal attacks, the Fey animal attacks, and get out of here.
We'll maul them some more, and then we'll go.
As long as they all look like they got attacked by animals, then we can get out of here.
Sure. So she turns back into a bear and just goes and starts mauling everybody. So all of the bodies are being mauled by the smallest of the bears, as the other two bears are kind of like, turned back into human form. And she goes, "Sorry, we're the Wild Heart clan. Who are you again?" My name is Thornton. That's the older one. His name is Thornton, and the younger friend here with the ridiculous mustache is Blaze.
There will be time for introductions later. For now, come with us. We need to get out of here.
Do you have a good, safe place for us?
We have a place for you to hide out and lay low for a while.
Is it dark and like a cave?
Yes.
That'd be wonderful.
Perfect.
I'm going to.
By the way,
tell
if she
everyone
took
we-
sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if she took the left shoe, that means all the then like what's remaining is just right.
All right. So is there
That wins
anything?
it.
All right. So y'all are having this. As y'all are having this conversation, Vimak, what are you doing while they're having this conversation?
I'm not one to pillage temples, but I am going to take a look. But I'm going to take a look at a curious object on the table
Yes.
and just scope it out, see what's going on.
I'll take a tapestry or two.
Do you want me to show you what it looks like?
About how big is it? Like, is that like palms? Oh,
Oh my.
Foot and a half.
talking like watermelon size.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that in the bag of holding and be like, this looks like it could be something
Okay.
useful. I guess.
All right. So you take the mysterious egg-shaped object.
Yes.
Okay.
Joseph said, "Is there like a nice wall covering or like a fine tapestry?"
There's a lot of ornaments in here that are gold. I mean, this is a temple, so there's a lot of religious symbols up that are gold and silver and gem crusted. If you want to take a quick minute and rob the place, however, are we not trying to make this like an animal attack, or was it an animal attack that liked to steal things too?
That's a good point.
I'm getting confused on the guys.
That's a good
here.
point. I won't. I forgot this is supposed to look like an animal attack. Take the egg. I'll leave everything else alone. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. All right. So with that, it is very early in the morning. It's like 3-4 in the morning. It's still dark, but you've only got a little time left before the sun comes up. What is it that you would like to do?
Need to get out of here.
The sneakiest way that we possibly can get
Okay.
home.
All right, so Goldie, Lorex, and the three bears make it outside the town. And Vimak. So at this point, now, how are you going? How is Vimak going to get out of town?
I will, I guess, use the stone.
And turn yourself into Martha Stewart again. Okay, so you turn yourself into a very ugly old woman, and
The Stewart's beautiful. You take that back.
Stewart is beautiful. I'm sorry.
It's
It's the mixture of a Martha Stewart Goliath that I'm having a hard time with. All right, so with that, you all make it out of town. We'll fast forward. You get back in time as the sun is coming up, and you and the Wildheart clan have made it successfully back to. I guess we need to name what your stronghold is, but you have made it back. As soon as you get back, they all meet and they all introduce. The dwarves have ale for you that are now being served by the microbrewery, which also needs a name, that we opened up as well. And I do want to show our new friends that we met. So here is Mari, Wildheart,
Yeah, love it.
and then here's Blaze, Thornton. All right, so we have Thornton, Blaze, and then we have Mari. So these are our three new people who have traveled. We will hear their tale next week as they tell. They have heard the call of the wild. They are a group of werebears that have traveled. They've heard the call of the sovereign, and they've
Very
come
nice.
just to meet Miles. So we'll have a hearty time next week as we hear the story of the Wildheart clan as we kick off next week. And we'll also be finished with crafting Vimak's new armor, and maybe we'll find out what this strange egg-shaped object you found pilfered from the Temple of Helm. So, to recap, we have officially upset Xanathar's guild, and now we have murdered and pillaged a Temple of Helm.
It's a classic Trevor
Yay!
game, is what it is.
It is. You just go around and collect as many adversaries as possible. Just see what
Except
happens.
But
instead
it
of
could-
pissing off a lich, we've befriended one.
Right. It's plot twist.
And it could have been a bear, animal attack. We don't know.
It was definitely an animal attack. I think you'd have a hard time arguing against that. All right. So with that, we thank you all so much for watching. Until next week, keep rolling with advantage, and thank you guys. We'll see y'all next week. Bye.